was about to marry a woman I'd met 3 times when the Fae Prince stole me from the altar. Best thing that ever happened to me, honestly. Okay, let me back up. Lady Catherine was beautiful, wealthy, from a good family, everything my father wanted in a daughter-in-law. I'd forgotten her eye color twice. The first time I blamed nerves. The second time, standing in the garden during our 3rd and final meeting before the wedding, I realized I simply didn't care enough to remember. We stood at the altar and she smiled at me, polite, practiced, matching mine exactly, and I thought about the next 50 years. The separate bedrooms, the political dinners where we'd perform affection for guests, the children we'd have because it was expected, not because we wanted them, the slow, quiet death of whatever dreams I'd once had. My father stood in the front pew looking satisfied. He'd secured the alliance he wanted. I was doing my duty. That was supposed to be enough. It wasn't. The priest opened his book. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today." The stained glass windows exploded. Not shattered, exploded. Glass should have rained down on the guests, but instead, autumn leaves poured through. Red and gold and orange, impossible in spring. They swirled on wind that shouldn't exist indoors, wind that smelled of apple orchards and wood smoke and something wild I couldn't name. The leaves didn't fall. They danced, spiraling upward, forming the shape of a man. Not a man, something else entirely. He was the kind of beautiful that made your chest hurt, made you forget how to breathe. Hair like spun copper, catching light that wasn't there. Skin pale as birch bark, smooth and flawless. Eyes that were actually silver. Not gray, not pale blue, but liquid mercury catching and holding light. Pointed ears just visible through his hair. Cheekbones that could cut glass. When he smiled, his teeth were just slightly too sharp, like a wolf pretending to be civilized. "I invoke the Treaty of Thorn and Crown," he said. His voice made me think of honey dripping off a blade, sweet and dangerous. "The Autumn Court claims its tithe." Those silver eyes found mine across the church, and I felt the impact like a physical thing. "I claim him." Catherine gasped. My father shouted something I didn't hear. Someone in the back screamed. The priest clutched his book like it could protect him. The prince moved, faster than anything human could move, faster than my eyes could track. One moment he stood framed by the broken windows, leaves swirling around him. The next he was before me, close enough that I could smell him, night air and cedar and autumn rain. He extended his hand, palm up. An invitation, not a demand. "Come with me," he said softly, just for me. "Please." That please mattered. It shouldn't have, but it did. A prince of the Fae, a creature out of nightmares and old songs, asking instead of taking. His hand was cool when I took it. Not cold, just not quite warm, like marble that had been sitting in shade. His fingers closed around mine, gentle but firm. "Wait," my father started, finding his voice. "No." The prince's smile went sharp, dangerous. "I've waited long enough." He pulled me against him, one arm around my waist, hand splayed across my lower back. The world bent. Reality twisted. My stomach dropped like I was falling from a great height. Colors bled together like wet paint, running and mixing. We were somewhere else. The Fae realm hit me like strong wine on an empty stomach. Everything was too much. Colors too vivid, almost painful in their intensity. The sky was perpetual sunset, orange and pink and gold all at once. Beautiful and wrong. Trees grew sideways and upside down, defying gravity, their leaves in full autumn glory. The air was thicker here, richer, and it tasted like cinnamon and wine and something else I couldn't identify. I staggered. My legs didn't want to hold me. The world spun, and for a moment I thought I'd be sick. He steadied me, still holding my hand, his other hand on my elbow. "Easy. The crossing is rough the first time. Breathe. Just breathe." I tried. Each breath felt like inhaling lightning, electric, overwhelming, too much. Where? I couldn't form full sentences. My head spun, my heart hammered against my ribs. "My realm, the Autumn Court." He gestured at a palace in the distance, and I forced myself to focus on it. Massive, impossible, beautiful. It looked grown rather than built, formed from living trees that twisted together into towers and walls, all amber and gold and crimson glowing in the strange light. Your home for the next season. That cut through the disorientation like a knife. I want to go back. No, he said with absolute certainty, like he could see straight through me to something I had been hiding even from myself. You were dying there, slowly, quietly, but dying. I've been watching you for 3 years. You don't love her. You don't even like her. The words hit harder than they should have. You've been watching me? Every day. No shame in his voice, no apology. He turned to face me fully, and his eyes were impossibly bright in the strange sunset light. Waiting for you to be old enough for the treaty. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for this. He stepped closer, invading my space in a way that felt intimate rather than threatening. I chose you specifically. Out of everyone in your realm, out of thousands of humans I could have claimed, I chose you. Why? His smile was dangerous, beautiful, and terrifying at once. Because you're mine. You just don't know it yet. I'm not anyone's. I'm miserable, trapped, suffocating under duty and expectations and a life you never wanted. I watched you, Ash. I watched you die a little more each day. Don't call me that. You don't know my name. I know you better than anyone in your world ever has. He reached up, and I flinched, but he moved slowly. His cool fingers brushed my jaw. And I won't use your name. Names have power here. Real power. If I speak your true name, I could command you, bind you, hurt you. I don't want that. What do you want? You, willing, happy, choosing me because you want to, not because you have to. His thumb traced my cheekbone. So I'll call you Ash, for your eyes, like smoke and storms, and things that change and shift and refuse to be pinned down. I hated that it fit, hated that some part of me responded to the name like it was always mine. What's your name? I asked, because I needed to take back some control of this conversation. Thornweave. The word sounded like music, like autumn itself had a voice. Prince of the Autumn Court, Lord of the Harvest, Keeper of... There are 17 more titles, but they're tedious. His smile softened slightly, became almost playful. You can call me Thorn. Thorn, I repeated. The name felt right in my mouth. Come. He took my hand again, fingers interlacing with mine like we'd been doing this for years instead of minutes. Let me explain while I show you the palace. You deserve to understand what's happening. He led me toward the palace, and I let him. What choice did I have? The path was made of crushed autumn leaves that crunched under our feet but never scattered. Trees lined the way, impossibly tall, impossibly beautiful, their branches reaching toward us like they wanted to touch. Here's how this works, Thorn said. The Treaty of Thorn and Crown is ancient, older than your kingdom. Every century, the Autumn Court is permitted to claim one human, to keep them for a season. When spring returns to your realm, the gateway opens, and you can choose. Go home, or stay with me forever. That's kidnapping. That's Fae law. He didn't sound defensive, just matter of fact. And technically, you're a guest. Guests can leave. You can leave. He gestured broadly at the forest surrounding us. Trees and impossible formations, paths leading in every direction. They all lead out of the palace. The realm is vast. You could wander for days, weeks even. Of course, it's also dangerous. Creatures here that would find you fascinating. Other Fae courts that would love to steal you from me. The wild magic itself, which responds unpredictably to humans. You're fragile here, breakable. But you're welcome to try. I stared at him. So I'm free to leave, but I'll die if I do. I'm saying I'll keep you safe if you stay. His eyes caught the light, and I saw something in them. Vulnerability, maybe. Hope. And I'll make you happy if you let me. That's all I want. Your happiness. Your choice. We reached the palace gates, massive things made of living wood, still growing, still breathing. I could see the bark moving, expanding and contracting. They opened without touch, without sound, swinging wide to reveal the interior. Inside was overwhelming. Rooms that seemed to shift and rearrange as I looked at them. Staircases that led in impossible directions. Up became down, left became right. Everything autumn-colored, gold and crimson and amber, warm and alive. Magic hung visible in the air like mist, swirling in patterns I almost recognized. Fae moved through the halls, beautiful, terrible creatures that looked at me with curiosity and hunger. They gave Thorn space, bowing as he passed, but their eyes followed me. "They won't hurt you," Thorn said quietly. "You're under my protection. To touch you would be to challenge me directly, and none of them are that foolish." He led me through corridors where the walls seemed to breathe, up staircases that shouldn't work but did, to a room that made my breath catch in my throat. It was perfect. Large bed with curtains that looked like falling leaves, moving gently in a breeze I couldn't feel. Massive windows overlooking the eternal autumn forest, the view stretching for miles. Furniture that looked grown rather than built. A desk that was still a living tree somehow shaped into the right form. Bookshelves carved into the walls, filled with volumes in languages I might be able to read. A fireplace with flames that burned gold instead of orange. Everything I would have designed for myself if I'd had the chance. "This is yours," Thorn said. He'd moved to stand by the window, giving me space to process. "For as long as you're here. No one will enter without your permission, not even me. You're safe here, truly." "Safe," I laughed, and it came out bitter. "I was kidnapped from my wedding." "You were rescued." He turned to face me, and the conviction in his voice was absolute. "From a life that was slowly killing you, from a marriage you dreaded, from duty that felt like drowning." He crossed back to me, moving slowly, carefully. "I watched you, Ash. For 3 years I watched you. I saw you laugh at the beginning, rare but real. By the end, I never saw you laugh at all. I watched the light go out of your eyes, watched you smile and smile and smile while dying inside." My throat tightened. "I watched you in the garden with her," he continued, a voice soft. "Your third meeting. She talked about the wedding plans and you nodded and agreed to everything, and I could see you weren't hearing a word. You were somewhere else, somewhere far away, dreaming of a different life." "How do you know that?" My voice cracked. "Because I've been watching you every moment I could for 3 years, because I saw myself in you." His hand lifted again, and this time I didn't flinch. His cool fingers brushed my jaw, gentle. "I've existed for 300 years, Ash. 3 centuries of ruling and duty and doing what's expected. 300 years of being alone. And then I saw you in my scrying mirror, just once, just for a moment, and something in my chest cracked open. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move." "You were laughing," he said. "I don't even know what at. Something someone said, probably. But you threw your head back and laughed, really laughed. And you were so alive, so human, so beautiful. And I felt my heart beat for the first time in 2 centuries. "That's obsession," I managed. "Yes. No denial, no shame." He held my gaze unflinching. "It's obsession. I'm obsessed with you. I've spent 3 years watching you, learning you, waiting for you to be old enough that the treaty would allow me to claim you, waiting for the right moment. And today, when I looked into my scrying mirror and saw you at that altar, dying inside while everyone smiled, I couldn't wait any more." His thumb traced my cheekbone, and I shivered despite myself. "I'm not going to apologize for it," he continued. "I'm not going to pretend I'm sorry I took you. But I am going to give you something no one in your world ever has." "What?" "Choice." He dropped his hand and stepped back, giving me space. "Real choice. Not do your duty, or marry who we tell you to, or sacrifice what you want for what we need. I'm going to court you, show you what your life could be here, give you 6 weeks to decide. And then, when spring comes and the gateway opens, you'll choose. Stay with me or go home, but it will be your choice, yours, no one else's. I wanted to be angry, wanted to rage at him for taking me, for stealing me, for watching me without my knowledge. But underneath the anger was something else, something dangerous. Relief. Dinner is at sunset, Thorn said, moving toward the door, which is always here, so I mean when the light shifts to deeper gold. Someone will come fetch you. Don't eat anything a servant offers without my explicit permission. Fae food can bind you to the realm if given with intent. He paused at the door. There are clothes in the wardrobe. Everything should fit. Bathe if you want. Rest. This is overwhelming, I know. Take the time you need. And then what? He smiled, and it was soft and dangerous at once. And then let me show you what your life could be. He left. The door closed silently behind him. I stood in that perfect room and wondered what the hell just happened to my life. I didn't sleep that first night. How could I? Everything was too bright, too strange, too alive. I bathed instead. The water was perfect, exactly the temperature I wanted without me adjusting it. Magic. The clothes in the wardrobe fit perfectly. I chose simple things, dark trousers, a soft shirt. They felt like wearing shadows. At what I guessed was dawn, the light shifted from deep gold to brighter gold. I gave up on sleep and left my room. I wandered the palace, learning the layout. Or trying to. The palace seemed to shift when I wasn't looking. I found him in a garden. Not the grand, formal gardens, but something smaller, more intimate. He was creating flowers. I stopped in the archway and watched. He stood in the center, hands extended, and magic spiraled from his fingers, gold and amber light, visible and tangible, dancing through the air. Where the light touched earth, flowers bloomed, roses in colors that shouldn't exist, silver blue, violet black, crimson gold. He moved slowly, deliberately, conducting the magic like music. His eyes were half closed, his expression peaceful. I must have made some sound because his eyes opened and found me immediately. I didn't mean to interrupt, I said. You're not. He lowered his hands and the magic faded. I was hoping you'd find this place eventually. I stepped into the garden properly. The flowers glowed faintly. These don't exist in my realm. No, they're unique to the autumn court, but I thought you'd like them. He gestured to a silver blue rose. This one reminded me of you, your eyes. My eyes are gray. Your eyes are like smoke and storms and morning mist. They're never just one color. He picked the rose and crossed to me. Here, a gift freely given with no strings attached. I took it carefully. The petals were impossibly soft. Did you sleep? He asked. No. I'm sorry. I should have thought. Everything here is overwhelming at first. He looked genuinely distressed. It's not your fault. Isn't it? His smile was rueful. I stole you from your world and dropped you into mine with barely any explanation. Would you walk with me? He asked. Let me show you more of the realm. I hesitated, then, all right. We walked through gardens that defied logic and forests where trees sang in the wind. He showed me streams that ran uphill, meadows where flowers glowed, groves where trees grew in perfect spirals. And he talked. He told me about the autumn court, how it was founded, how it worked, the magic that sustained it. He explained the other courts, spring with its wild growth, summer with its passion, winter with its cold logic. Each court has its own magic, he said. Spring is new beginnings, summer is intensity, winter is endings, rest, and autumn is transformation, change, the balance between life and death. We passed other fae as we walked, beautiful, terrifying creatures, but they kept their distance, and Thorn kept himself between me and them. Why can't you lie? I asked when we stopped to rest. We physically cannot. Our magic is bound to truth. We can mislead, imply, suggest, omit, but we cannot speak a direct lie. That's terrible. He studied me. Is that why you told Lady Catherine you were looking forward to the wedding? My jaw clenched. I watched you smile at her while dying inside, watched you sacrifice yourself for duty. He leaned closer. Here, you don't have to pretend. The question came out before I could stop it. Do you actually want me, or is this just about the treaty? I want you more than I've wanted anything in 300 years, he said immediately, no hesitation. The treaty gave me the right to claim one human. I could have claimed anyone. I've seen thousands, hundreds who were beautiful, intelligent, interesting. I never wanted any of them. He leaned closer. But then I saw you, just once in my scrying mirror. You were laughing, and I felt something crack open in my chest. I spent 3 years watching you after that, waiting. For what? For you to be old enough, for the right moment. His hand lifted, hovering near my face. I chose you specifically, not because of the treaty, because something in you called to something in me. That's obsession. Yes, I'm obsessed with you. I know everything about you, what makes you laugh, what makes you sad, what you dream about. He finally touched me, fingers brushing my jaw. I know you, and I want you desperately, completely, forever. I should have been angry, terrified. Instead, I felt seen, really seen, maybe for the first time. What happens now? I asked. Now? His smile was soft and dangerous. Now I court you properly. I'm going to make you fall in love with me, Ash. I'm going to make you so happy that the thought of leaving tears you apart. That's arrogant. That's honest. I told you, Fae can't lie. He kept his word about courting me. Every day brought something new. Flowers in my room in colors I'd mentioned liking, books on subjects I found interesting, the view from my windows changing to show different parts of the realm. Then larger things. A week in, I woke to find my room transformed. The walls were covered in vines bearing flowers I hadn't seen in years. Flowers my mother had grown in her garden before she died. Flowers that had gone extinct decades ago. I found Thorn in the hallway, leaning against the wall like he'd been waiting. How did you... Magic, he said simply. And 3 years of watching you. You mentioned them once, months ago. You said they reminded you of your mother, that you wished you could see them again. He moved closer. So I found them, or rather I found the memory of them and convinced the realm to recreate them. My throat tightened. Thank you. You deserve beautiful things, Ash. Another day, I found a complete library had been added to my room. Shelves of books, all in my language, all on subjects I loved. Where did bees come from? I asked. Various places, some from your world, some from other realms, some from my own collection. He was creating flowers again. I wanted you to have things to do. You were never one for idle hands. He taught me things too, how to navigate the palace, which shifted but followed patterns, how to recognize different types of fae, dangerous ones, playful ones, ones who would try to trick me. Never promise anything, he said, ever. A promise to a fae is binding. Magic enforces it. He introduced me to the Autumn Court, gradually, a few fae each day. There was Ashenbark, his advisor, an ancient fae who looked like a tree given human form with bark-like skin and eyes like amber. You're young, they said bluntly. Yes, and human. For now. That made them pause. You're considering staying? I'm considering everything. I have 6 weeks. I plan to use them. Ashenbark's expression shifted to something like respect. Good. The prince needs someone who thinks before they act. There was Goldenfall, a female fae who looked like autumn itself, beautiful with hair like gold leaves and eyes like amber. She looked at me with open hostility. You don't belong here, she said when Thorn stepped away. I didn't choose to come here. No, he chose you. Her voice was bitter. Do you know how long I've waited for him to notice me? A century. And then you appear and suddenly he's transformed. I didn't ask for this. But you're enjoying it, aren't you? I can see it, the way you look at him. You're falling for him. I'm trying to survive. You're trying to decide, and I hate you for having what I never will." She stepped closer. "Love him well if you choose him. He's waited long enough." She walked away before I could respond. There was Nightshade, a trickster fae, who appeared in my room as a cat, then a raven, then finally themselves, androgynous and beautiful. "You're courting death wandering alone," they said cheerfully. "The prince said I was safe. Safe from physical harm, but there are fae who'd love to trick you into bargains just for fun," they grinned. "Lucky for you, I like you." "Why?" "Because chaos is more fun when people survive it." They tossed me an apple. "That's safe, by the way. I give it freely." They vanished in violet smoke. Through it all, Thorn was there. Constant, but not oppressive. He never demanded my time, but he was always available. He showed me magic, controlled, beautiful demonstrations. He took me flying once, holding me against him as he used magic to lift us, and I saw the entire autumn court spread below us. "It's beautiful," I whispered, clinging to him. Yes, but he was looking at me, not the view. 3 weeks in, 3 weeks here, months in my old world, I asked him about time. We were in his private study. It was warm and comfortable, filled with books. We sat on a sofa by the fire, gold flames, always gold. And he'd been explaining Fae history. "How long have I been here?" I asked. He hesitated. 3 weeks. "It feels longer and shorter. Time is strange here." "Time moves differently in the Fae realm." He wouldn't meet my eyes. "A day here is roughly a week in your world." I did the math. 3 weeks here is about 5 months there. Now he looked at me. "I should have told you sooner." 5 months? My voice cracked. "Catherine, the wedding is long over. She's probably married to someone else by now." He stepped closer. "Your father has moved on. The alliance was secured through other means. Your life there, the one you left, it's already gone. The only choice left is what life you want now." I stood, needing distance, crossed to the window. Outside, the eternal autumn stretched endlessly. "You should have told me," I said. "I know." His voice was quiet. "I was afraid that if you knew how much time had passed, you'd panic, you'd pull away. And I'm selfish, Ash. I wanted these weeks with you. I wanted the chance to show you what we could be together." "I can't go back." It wasn't a question, just a realization. "You could. The gateway will open regardless, but the life you left, it's truly gone now. You'd be returning to a world that's moved on without you, starting over. New name, new place. Or I could stay here, or you could stay here." He'd moved to stand behind me, not touching, but close. "With me, build a life that's actually yours, not duty, not obligation, choice." I turned to face him. "What happens if I stay, long term? Humans don't live as long as Fae." "The bond will change you," he said it carefully. "Over time, years, decades, your body will adapt to living here, to being bonded to Fae magic. You'll grow stronger, live longer. Eventually, given enough time, you'll become effectively immortal. The change is slow, natural, not painful." "Would I still be me?" "Yes, just more. The bond doesn't erase who you are, it enhances you." His hand lifted, hovering near my face. "But it takes time, decades at least, and it only happens if you stay." "And if I leave?" Pain flashed across his face. "The bond would break. It would hurt, badly, for both of us, but we'd survive. You'd be fully human again." "You'd let me go?" "I'd have to. That's the treaty. When spring comes, you choose, and I have to honor that choice, even if it destroys me." He finally touched me, fingers brushing my jaw. "You're very confident." "I'm very desperate." His smile was rueful. "There's a difference." The kiss happened 3 days later. We'd spent the day together, all day, just existing in each other's space, reading in his study, walking through gardens, talking about nothing and everything. At dinner, he'd looked at me across the table with such naked want that I'd forgotten how to swallow. After, we ended up on the balcony outside his chambers, the one with the best view of the eternal autumn forest. "I should hate you," I said quietly. "You stole me from my life." You should. He stood beside me. I deserve your hatred. But I don't. I turned to face him, and I can't figure out if that makes me weak or if it means something else. What do you think it means? I think you saved me. I think I was drowning and you pulled me out, and I'm furious about it because I'm supposed to be angry, but mostly I'm just relieved. His expression cracked, vulnerability and hope. I'm happy here, I continued. That's the worst part. I'm happy in a way I haven't been in years, maybe ever. You kidnapped me and I should hate you, but instead I wake up every morning and think about what you'll show me today, how you'll look at me like I'm the only thing that matters. You are, he breathed. You're the only thing that's mattered to me in 300 years. I hate that I don't hate you. Then don't hate me. He reached out slowly. His cool fingers brushed my jaw. Let me have this. Let me have you. This is a terrible idea. I know. He leaned closer. Do it anyway. I kissed him first. The moment my lips touched his, something in him broke. He made a sound against my mouth. Surprise, relief, hunger. And then his hands were in my hair, and he was kissing me back like I was air and he had been drowning. Fae kiss differently. Their mouths are cooler, sharper, every sensation amplified. His teeth scraped my lower lip and I gasped, and he used the opportunity to deepen the kiss. His tongue against mine, tasting like wine and magic. I grabbed his shirt, pulling him closer. He came willingly, pressing me back against the railing. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine. Mine, he whispered. Say it, please. I knew I shouldn't, knew this was giving him exactly what he wanted. I said, yours. He kissed me again, softer this time, reverent. Thank you, he breathed against my lips. We stood there for a long time, just holding each other, while the eternal sunset painted everything gold. After that, everything shifted. We didn't hide the relationship. When we walked through the palace now, his hand found mine automatically. When we sat together, we sat close. When we were alone, we kissed, soft, gentle explorations that left me breathless. But he didn't push for more, even when I could feel how much he wanted to. Why? I asked one night. We were in his chambers. I'd started spending evenings there. He'd pulled me against him at some point, my back to his chest, his cool hands tracing patterns on my arms. Why what? I asked first. He was quiet. Then, because I want you certain, want you desperate, want you to come to me because you can't stand not to anymore, not because I seduced you. His lips brushed my ear. I've waited 3 years for you, Ash. I can wait a few more. That's surprisingly patient. I'm 300 years old. Patience is one of the few things I'm good at. His arms tightened. Besides, when we finally do this, when you finally let me have you completely, I want there to be no doubt. I want you to know exactly what you're choosing. And if I never choose, then I'll spend the rest of my life regretting that I didn't get to show you how good we could be together. He turned me to face him. But I think you will. I think you already have, actually. You just haven't admitted it yet. That's arrogant. That's observant, he smiled. You look at me differently now, like you're imagining things. My breath caught. You're imagining things. I'm a fae. I can't lie, remember? His thumb traced my lower lip. I know exactly what you're thinking, and one of these days you're going to stop fighting it. He was right, and we both knew it. It happened during a storm. Fae storms were different, magic and weather combined, lightning that sang, rain that tasted like wine, thunder that felt like heartbeats. I woke to the sound of it and couldn't go back to sleep. The magic in the air was thick, electric. It made my skin tingle. I found myself walking to his chambers without deciding to. The door was open. It was always for me. He stood at the window, letting rain soak through his shirt. His hair was wet. His eyes were wild, pupils blown, more silver than I'd ever seen. You shouldn't be here, he said without turning. Why not? The storm. It affects us, makes us more primal, less controlled, more dangerous. I closed the door. What if I don't want you controlled? He turned, and the look in his eyes made my breath catch. Hunger, desperation. Don't say that unless you mean it. I mean it. I crossed to him, My hand shook, but I didn't stop. I'm tired of fighting this, tired of pretending I don't think about you constantly, that I lie awake wondering what it would feel like if you stopped being so careful. Ash, I want you. The words came out fierce. I want you, and I'm tired of pretending I don't. He moved with Fae speed. Suddenly I was against the wall, his body pressing into mine, his hand fisted in my hair. Tell me to stop, he breathed against my throat. Tell me to stop, and I will. Don't stop. He kissed me like he was starving, like he'd been holding back for years, which he had. 3 years of watching, 3 weeks of careful courting, all of it shattering. His hands found my shirt, tearing it open, buttons scattered. I heard fabric rip. I've wanted this, he said against my mouth, voice rough. Wanted you. Every day watching you, imagining this. I cut him off with another kiss, and this time it was desperate, all teeth and hunger and weeks of tension breaking. We moved, I'm not sure how. Suddenly the bed was beneath me and he was above me, eyes completely silver now, pupils swallowed by liquid metal. Last chance, he warned. Last chance to change your mind, because if we do this, everything changes. There'll be a bond, magic, connection that goes deeper than physical. I know. Once we start, I won't be able to be gentle. The storm, the magic, I don't want gentle. I pulled him down to me. I want real. I want you. Stop holding back and claim me. Something in him broke. His hands were everywhere, mapping my skin like he was memorizing it. Cool touch, leaving trails of heat in their wake. Where he touched, magic sparked, gold and amber light tracing patterns that felt like lightning. You're glowing, I gasped. You make me glow. His voice was wrecked. You make me feel alive for the first time in centuries. Clothing disappeared, torn, discarded, magic, I didn't know and didn't care. The feel of his skin against mine was overwhelming. Cool but not cold, smooth but with impossible strength beneath. He kissed down my throat, my chest, my stomach, lower. When his mouth closed around me, I nearly came apart. Not yet, he murmured against my hip. Not until I'm inside you. Want to feel you come apart around me. Thorn! Patience. His teeth grazed sensitive skin, and I arched off the bed. I've waited 3 years for this. I'm gonna take my time. He did. He learned every place that made me gasp, every touch that made me shiver. He was thorough and deliberate and absolutely relentless. By the time he finally settled between my legs, I was shaking, desperate, beyond words. Please, I managed. Please what? Stop teasing. I need... Tell me, his fingers traced where I needed him most. Tell me what you need. You, inside me, now. Magic flared between us, slick and warm, and then he was pushing inside and we both stopped breathing. It felt like coming home and falling off a cliff at the same time. Perfect and overwhelming and too much and not enough. Gods, he choked out. You feel I've never... I couldn't form words, could only hold on to him as he started to move. Fae are stronger than humans, faster, more intense. He set a pace that was almost too much, exactly what I needed. The magic responded to every movement, growing brighter, more intense, gold and silver light spiraling around us, between us, through us. His hands gripped my hips, holding me in place while he took me apart piece by piece. The magic spiraled higher, brighter, and I could feel something building, not just physical pleasure, but something deeper, something fundamental. Mine, he growled against my throat. Say it, need to hear it. Yours, I gasped. Always, God's, yours. His teeth grazed my shoulder, not breaking skin, but marking me, claiming me in the most primal way. The magic reached critical mass. I felt something snap into place between us. Not physical, something deeper. A bond. Golden thread connecting chest to chest, heart to heart, pulsing with shared heartbeat and shared breath and shared sensation. I could feel what he felt. His pleasure and mine tangling together, amplifying each other, building towards something impossible. We came together, magic shattered like glass, light filled every corner of the room, power coursed through us both until I couldn't tell where I ended and he began. For a moment, just one perfect moment, we were one being, one heart, one soul, one existence. Then we collapsed together, both shaking, the magic slowly fading to a soft glow around us. He didn't pull out, it didn't pull away. Instead, he held me closer, face buried in my neck, trembling. "I can feel you," he whispered, "in my chest, in my head, everywhere." I felt it too. Warmth that wasn't physical, his presence, constant and comforting and real, like he'd taken residence in my rib cage. What did we do? We bonded. He pulled back enough to meet my eyes. His were still silver, still glowing faintly. Fae bonds are permanent, unbreakable, formed during intimacy when there's genuine emotion involved. Love. His hand cupped my face. "I should have warned you, but I couldn't stop, couldn't think. I don't want to break it." His expression cracked. Relief, joy, something vulnerable I'd never seen before. "I love you," he said simply. "I've loved you since I first saw you 3 years ago. This wasn't just desire. It was never just desire." My throat tightened. "I love you too. I think I have for a while. I just couldn't admit it." He kissed me again, softer this time, reverent. "You're mine now, truly. The bond means we're connected forever. I'll feel your emotions, you'll feel mine. Distance won't matter, time won't matter. We're tied together." "Good," I said. "I don't want forever with anyone else." We stayed in bed as the storm calmed outside. He held me like I was something precious, fingers tracing idle patterns on my skin. "The marks will fade," he quietly said, touching the bruises blooming on my hips where he'd gripped too hard. "I don't mind them." I was too rough, lost control. "I liked it." I caught his hand. "Don't apologize for being what you are." He studied me for a long moment. "You're extraordinary, you know that." "I'm ordinary. You're the magical prince." "You're a human who looked at the Fae realm and didn't run screaming, who challenged me, who kissed me first, who just bonded with a creature your people tell horror stories about." His thumb brushed my jaw. "That's not ordinary." "What happens now?" "Now?" His smile was soft. "Now I spend every day proving you made the right choice, and you let me worship you the way you deserve." He pulled me closer and I settled against his chest. Through the bond I could feel his contentment, his joy, his absolute certainty that this was right. And I felt my own emotions mirrored back at me. Love, relief, the strange, overwhelming rightness of being exactly where I was supposed to be. "Spring is coming soon," I said quietly. 3 more weeks." "Yes." "And I'll have to choose." "Yes." His arms tightened around me. "But I think you already have." He was right. I had. I just hadn't said it out loud yet. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of happiness I didn't know was possible. We were inseparable. I still kept my room, but I spent most nights in his chambers, in his bed, in his arms. The bond changed things. I could feel his emotions constantly now, a warm presence in my chest. When he was happy, I felt it like sunshine. When he was stressed, I felt that too. And he felt everything I felt. My joy, my lingering uncertainty about the choice ahead, my love for him growing stronger every day. "It's distracting," he said one morning. We were tangled together in bed. "Feeling everything you feel. Good distracting, but distracting." "Sorry." "Don't be." He kissed my shoulder. "I like knowing exactly how you feel about me. Leaves no room for doubt." "Arrogant." "Honest." His hand traced down my spine. "I can feel how much you love me. It's intoxicating." But happy as we were, reality was approaching. Spring was coming to my old world. I could feel it somehow, through the bond maybe, or just through instinct. A week before the choice, everything changed. I woke to find him at the window, staring at the forest with an expression I'd never seen before. Through the bond, I felt his emotions. Anxiety, fear, something close to panic. "What's wrong?" "The leaves are changing." His voice was hollow. Look." I joined him at the window. The eternal autumn was shifting. Green appearing on branches, tiny flowers blooming, fresh growth where there should only be golden decay. "Spring is coming," he said. "To your realm. The gateway opens in 3 days." 3 days. My chest went tight. Through the bond, I felt his terror. He thought he was losing me. "What happens if I stay?" I asked. He turned to me face on. "The bond would change you. You're already changing. Can you feel it? You're stronger than you were. Your senses are sharper. That's the bond beginning its work." He took my hand. "Over time, years, decades, your body will continue to adapt. You'll age slower, heal faster. Eventually, given enough time, you'll become effectively immortal. The change is gradual, natural." "How long?" "Depends on the strength of the bond. Ours is strong, I can feel it. Probably 50 to 100 years before you're fully Fae, but you'll notice changes within the first decade." "Would I still be me?" "Yes, the bond doesn't erase who you are. It enhances you, makes you more." He cupped my face. "You'll still be Ash, the human who challenged me and kissed me first and chose me. Just stronger, longer lived, able to stay with me forever." "And if I leave?" Pain flashed across his face, and through the bond I felt it like a knife. "The bond would break. It would hurt, badly, like being torn in half, for both of us. But we'd survive." His voice went quiet. "You'd be fully human again, free to build whatever life you want." "You'd let me go?" "I'd have to. That's the treaty. When spring comes, you choose, and I have to honor that choice, even if it destroys me." His hand cupped my face. "But I need you to know something. If you leave, I'll never claim another human, never bond with anyone else, because I've already found my person, my forever. If I can't have you, I don't want anyone." My throat tightened. "That's a lot of pressure." "I know. I'm sorry, but I can't lie to you." His thumb traced my cheekbone. "You're it for me, the only one I'll ever want. So whatever you choose, choose for yourself, not for me. Choose the life you actually want." Through the bond, I felt his sincerity, his love, his absolute willingness to let me go if that's what I needed. And I felt my own heart already decided. "I want to stay," I said. He went very still. "What?" "I want to stay. With you, here." I took his hand and pressed it against my chest, right over my heart. "I know it's only been 6 weeks. I know this is crazy, but I'm happier here than I ever was there. You see me, really see me, in a way no one ever has. You gave me choice when everyone else gave me obligations. Ash," he continued, "I love you, and I know you love me. I can feel it through the bond every second of every day. And I don't want to go back to a world where I'm just a political tool. I want to stay here, build a life that's actually mine. With you." His eyes shimmered. Through the bond, I felt his emotions surge. Joy, relief, love, desperate hope. "Are you certain?" he whispered. "I'm more certain of anything in my life." He kissed me then, deep and desperate, and through the bond I felt everything he felt. 3 years of longing, 6 weeks of careful courting, the overwhelming relief of being chosen. When we broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine. "Thank you," he breathed. "Thank you for choosing me, for choosing us." "Stop thanking me." I kissed him softer. "This isn't a sacrifice. This is what I want. You're what I want." Through the bond, I felt the truth of it, and his joy was so overwhelming it brought tears to his eyes. "I'll make you happy," he promised. "Every day for the rest of forever, I'll make you happy. You already do." But our peace didn't last long. The next day, everything exploded. She appeared in the throne room during morning court, the Spring Queen herself, flanked by half her court, beautiful in a way that hurt to look at, all new growth and fresh blooms and raw, chaotic life. "I challenge your claim," she announced, voice carrying across the assembled Fae. The room went silent. Thorn stood from his throne and his expression went cold. On what grounds? Coercion, enchantment, unlawful binding. She gestured at me where I stood beside his throne. The human was stolen from his wedding, held prisoner in your realm, bonded to you while under duress. These are violations of the treaty. Murmurs rippled through both courts. Even some of the Autumn Fae looked uncertain. He could leave at any time, Thorn said, voice steady despite the rage I felt through the bond. The doors were never locked. He was never forbidden from walking away. Into a realm that would kill him within hours? The Spring Queen laughed. That's not freedom, Lord Thornweave. That's a prettier cage. You gave him the illusion of choice while ensuring he had no real alternative but to stay. That's coercion. More murmurs, louder now. And the bond, she continued, was formed while he was your prisoner, while he had no real ability to refuse you. That makes it unlawful. The treaty is clear. Bonds must be formed freely and without duress. I felt Thorn's fear through our connection. Not fear of losing the argument, fear of losing me. The bond was consensual, he said. Was it? She turned to look at me directly. Tell me, human, did you come to his bed freely, or did you come because you had nowhere else to go, no other source of comfort in a strange realm? It was clever, reasonable even, making me question my own choices. The assembled Fae watched, waiting for my answer. I stepped forward, away from Thorn's throne, faced the Spring Queen directly. I came to his bed because I wanted to, I said clearly, not because I had to, because I wanted to. You're human. You don't understand what you've agreed to. I understand perfectly. I moved to stand in the center of the room where everyone could see me. Yes, he took me from a wedding I didn't want. Yes, I couldn't leave safely at first, but he gave me something I never had in my old world. What? Choice. Real choice. I looked around at the assembled courts. In my world, I was told who to marry, how to act, what to want. I was a political tool, a means to an alliance. Nobody ever asked me what I wanted. They just told me what I should want and expected me to comply. I turned back to the Spring Queen. He asked, I said simply. He courted me, showed me what my life could be here, gave me options. And yes, he wanted me to stay. He's not subtle about that. But he never demanded it, never forced it. He told me explicitly that when spring came, I would choose, and that he would honor that choice even if it destroyed him. You're bonded to him. That's not a choice, that's a chain. The bond formed during intimacy. Intimacy I initiated, that I wanted. I kissed him first. I went to his chambers. I asked him to stop holding back. And when the bond formed, I felt it happening and I didn't stop it, because I wanted it. The room was completely silent now. I'm staying, I said, not because I'm trapped, not because I'm coerced, because this is the life I want, because he's the person I want, because for the first time in my life I'm choosing something for myself instead of accepting what other people chose for me. I looked back at Thorn. Through the bond I felt his emotions, love, pride, desperate relief. I choose him, I said. I choose this life. That's my decision, mine, and nobody, not you, not the treaty, not anyone gets to tell me it's not valid just because you don't approve. The Spring Queen studied me for a long moment. Then she looked at Thorn, at the bond visible between us, a golden thread pulsing with shared magic, and something in her expression shifted. The bond is real, she said quietly. I can see it, feel it. It's strong, genuine. You really love him. Yes. And you're choosing to stay, knowing what it means, knowing you'll change over time, knowing you can never go back to being fully human? Yes. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she inclined her head. Then I withdraw my challenge. She looked at Thorn. The bond is unbreakable. The choice is made freely. He's yours, Lord Thornweave. May you treasure him appropriately. Relief flooded through me, mine and Thorn's both, tangling through the bond. The Spring Queen turned to leave, her court following, but she paused at the door and looked back at me. Welcome to forever, little Ash. May you never regret it. Then she was gone. The throne room erupted in conversation, Autumn Fae approaching, offering congratulations, acceptance, welcome. Goldenfall stepped forward, her expression softer than I'd ever seen it. "I was wrong about you," she said. "You love him, truly. I can see it in the bond." She smiled, tight but genuine. "Welcome to the Autumn Court. May you rule it well beside him." "Rule it? You're bonded to the prince. That makes you prince consort." She glanced at Thorn. "Eventually, when he takes the throne fully, you'll be king consort. You'll rule together." I hadn't thought about that, hadn't considered the political implications. Through the bond, I felt Thorn's amusement. "Surprise," he murmured. "You could have mentioned that." "I was going to, eventually, after you chose to stay." His hand found mine. "Is it a problem?" I thought about it, thought about spending eternity beside him, helping rule this impossible realm. "No," I decided, "it's not a problem." His smile was radiant. 3 days later, the gateway opened. I could feel it, a tearing in the fabric between worlds, a doorway back to the realm I'd left behind. It would stay open for exactly 1 day. Thorn took me to see it. It stood in a clearing in the forest, visible as a shimmer in the air. Through it I could see my world, green grass, blue sky, normal trees growing normally. It looked alien to me now. "You can still go," Thorn said quietly. "If you want, if you've changed your mind, the gateway is open. You just have to step through." "I know." "Your father is on the other side, Catherine. Your old life. It's still there, waiting, if you want it." "I know." Through the bond, I felt his fear, his hope, his love. I turned away from the gateway and faced him. "I don't want it," I said. "I want this. I want you. I want the life we're building together." "You're certain?" "I've never been more certain of anything." His expression cracked, joy and relief and love flooding through the bond so intensely it made my breath catch. "Then stay," he whispered. "Stay and let me love you forever." "Forever," I agreed. "However long that is." I watched as the gateway shimmered once, twice, then faded, the doorway closing, the choice made final. I didn't feel trapped. I felt free. 50 years later, I stand in our garden, watching leaves fall in impossible colors. The changes have been gradual. My skin is paler now, taking on the birch bark quality of thorns. My hands are cooler, stronger. My ears have developed the faintest points. My senses have sharpened. I can hear heartbeats from rooms away, taste magic in the air, see in the dark like it's daylight. More Fae, less human, but still me. The bond has reshaped me slowly, year by year. In another 50 years, I'll be fully Fae, immortal, eternal, able to stand beside him forever without fear of time stealing me away. He appears behind me. I feel him through the bond before I see him, arms wrapping around my waist. His body is cool against mine, familiar after 50 years of this. "Regrets yet?" he murmurs against my ear. I lean back into him. "Ask me in another 50 years. "I will. I'll ask you every lifetime, and you'll tell me the same thing every time." "What's that?" "That choosing me was the best decision you ever made." I turn in his arms to face him. Through the bond, I feel his emotions, contentment, love, the quiet satisfaction of having exactly what he wanted for exactly as long as he hoped. "You know me too well," I say. "I've had 50 years to learn you, and I'll have eternity to love you." He cups my face, thumbs brushing my cheekbones. "Best treaty claim I ever made. Best kidnapping I ever experienced." He laughs, and the sound is warm and bright, and everything I never knew I needed. We stand there as autumn leaves swirl around us, eternal, together, exactly where we belong. The stolen bride who chose to stay forever.